Thank you all so much for being here, and welcome to episode 2 of Stone Speaks. We've got a great time in store for you here today, but before we get to Stone's interview, we're going to hear from Henrik, who had some really lovely things to share about his friend Eddie Vedder. Henrik is a Danish rock journalist. His job is to spend his time talking to people we all wish we could, and he's the one who's making all of this possible. So with gratitude, I turn it over to Henrik Tuxen.
Hey, this is Henrik from Copenhagen. I thought Ryan's studio was looking so cool and all kinds of stuff, and I was just like crap hanging around. So I thought I'd shape it up a little bit.
I'm noticing a distinct lack of Kermies. Right, Bert?
This is Jimmy Page just signed now, and interviewed him, and that's actually Pearl Jam from South America. First time I had my first book exhibition there. It was an amazing time. Anyway, I started this out a little different. Talking about Eddie Vedder. Eddie Vedder, what kind of songs he write, what's his inspiration. I tell a little bit backwards because I was just in a program, it's not out yet, called Danish Bass Players, which I just thought was ridiculous that they asked me because I haven't played a goddamn bass for 20 years. But once it got me going, I'm really sort of loving it right now and feeling it. This is my old Fender Squire, which is a copy bass, but anyway, it's just the greatest bass ever, I think. I was in this band, the Sharing Patrol, with two guys from Seattle, which if somebody had read some of my book, they would know about that. And we were heavily influenced by The Who and The Jam and that kind of stuff. Just a little snap of how we played. This is The Jam playing Heatwave, the Motown song, and it goes like this.
That was riveting!
That was my past, and it was so cool, so fun. I've been playing with some Pearl Jam cover bands in South America and in Argentina and Chile, and it's been super great. But anyway, that was kind of a little bit of a plan to get into this story, because as many of you would know, that Eddie Vedder is heavily influenced by The Who, and so were we, and so was that band, and like what you hear there, that those direct influence and cover songs of Motown stuff. When I interviewed the band on Riot Act in New York, we actually talked to all band members over 2 days. It was very, 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 very luxurious. I was hoping for the same would happen in Gigaton, but a pandemic came across, so that didn't happen. But anyway, I had this really cool interview with Eddie Vedder, which lasted for an hour. It was actually going to last half an hour, and then he was like pointing to his press agent saying, I think we're going to go a little further and a little longer. And that was about Roskilde Festival tragedy and all that, but it was all about lots of other stuff. So I said to him, well, all that's about The Who. You always loved The Who, and I always did. And you know what, Eddie? My son, he's just wrote this paper on The Who. I think it was in 8th grade or something. And maybe, could you write him a note maybe? And he said, oh, that's cool. And so what he did, and why I want to point this out, is like, I felt like I really experienced a moment there, of the artists at work, like the creative process happening right there. Because, I don't know, can you see this? Who are you? Like with the Who sign. Who am I? You are you, I am me, I am mine, you are yours. Love, Eddie Vedder. And say, good luck, man. But I thought, how that, he just did that on the spot. But it was the Who, the Who logo. The Who Are You? Obviously the Who album. And Who You Are, the Pearl Jam song. And then this question mark of like I'm a young man growing up asking these questions. And then there was the time of I am me, I am mine. And I thought there was just so many levels of one at one time, and he could not have prepared that, because how would he know? I would have asked him and told about Tobias and the Who, and so I just thought that was like it was just a little piece of brilliance. Happy it was actually on my son's wall, but he's on silent retreat and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of here for a while. I think that showed me, going back to Eddie Vedder, how he wrote songs. Like, that was really a spot where I can see he got inspired. He, like, all of a sudden there was the music history, and there was all these existential questions, and then there was me and our connection and my son, and like a friend of mine who also is a good friend of Eddie, and we say like we always have this joke and say, so every time we meet him, it's like first question is like, how the kids? Like that's the obvious first question. But I thought that was it was an example, and it was really cool to witness. You know, that might be one part. And then I know he told me, you know, like he always carries his ukulele around, and you can hear when you sit in the room and those small things, like obviously stuff like Can't Keep and all that, and then you had the angry song, when it's angry and heavy and a little fast and away, that Porch, for instance, that's like really Eddie Vedder. You know, he's pissed off about something. So anyway, there was a little piece on that, and I'm gonna get back to this bass, start a band, whatever, I don't even know. But thanks a lot, and see you out there. Bye-bye.
Could you maybe say about, you said about Ed sort of getting things together, or taking control of it, or say, okay, now let's do this. When was that, just recently, or was that some time ago?
That was sort of, you know, that was, I don't know what month that was. I guess it was summer, the end of summer, and you know, he had some touring and did some stuff, but that was kind of basically where the band, you know, we had enough material. We knew that you know, it was kind of there. It needed to be mixed. You know, we had made the decision that Josh was going to mix it, and Ed had vocals to finish and things to do. So him and Josh Evans just went in, and they spent basically a month kind of just finishing vocals, and then sort of contouring these tracks and kind of thinking about the right group of songs to kind of create this record. And when I heard it at the end, I was worried, you know, I mean, because sometimes, like you said, it's like you go in there and spend a lot of time by yourself, and sometimes you just get too much of your own perspective, and you don't, you know. But it was a real, I mean, I just was, when I finally heard it, I was just, you know, and I heard it together, I was like, okay, I get it. This is great.
Yeah.
You know, every song just came up, you know, 2 or 3 notches because of the way the final vocal went, or how how he pulled guitars out in this verse and then added them back in this verse, or how this song is like stripped down, but this one is so layered, or how he just even picked songs that I wouldn't have expected. You know?
On behalf of everyone, I would like to extend an enthusiastic thank you to Henrik and Stone for that gift. Henrik touched on one aspect of Eddie's songwriting, the inspiration behind the lyrics, but I would like to touch on something a little bit different. Songwriters, whether they know it or not, they tend to gravitate towards the same tools in the toolbox when they write their songs, and Eddie does something curious, not all of the time, not half of the time, but a lot of the time. We're going to call this segment How to Spot an Eddie Vedder Song in the Wild. And that thing is this. Eddie loves to take one chord shape and without changing it at all, move it up and down and up and down, and that is the crux for at least one part of the song. Take Porch, for example, a G chord. I'm just going to move it up 2 frets, up 1 more fret, back down. Second time, up 2 frets, 1 fret, and 2 frets. And then there's I Am Mine. Take your D chord, but remove your middle finger. Move it up 3 frets, 2 frets, back down, and down 1 fret. Then there's Not For You. We're going to take our E shape and move it up 2 frets and then 1 more fret. with volume. On that topic, breaker fall is the same E shape in original position. Then we're going to move it up to frets 4 and 5 and frets 6 and 7. If you can picture it in your mind's ear. Should have led with Better Man, but here it is now. Better Man features a chord called D with an F sharp in the bass. I was just called the Better Man chord. Pointer finger on E string 2nd fret, middle finger on G string 2nd fret, and ring finger on B string 3rd fret. We are going to take some things off and put them back on here now, but it's the same idea. Up 2 frets, and as things progress, up 1 fret, up 2 frets, back down, and back up. Around the bend is an A7 chord. That's an A chord with an open G string. You can use whatever fingers you want, but we're going to take this A7 shape and start it up on the 7th fret. 7, 5, 2, 5, and a D chord. 7, 7, 5, 2, 5, D. And this is an offshoot to that idea, but I think you'll enjoy this little string. Ed's part in present tense when the band comes in, the whole big outro jam bit. Take your ring finger and put it on the D string 8th fret, and your pointer finger on the B string 6th fret. Now, when I made this video, I was in dadgad, so they both would have been on the 8th fret, but we have seen Ed playing it live in not dadgad, and hence his fingers were like this, but you'll be on the 6th and 8th frets, 5th and 7th, and 3rd and 5th, right? If we take this shape and we leave it on 3 and 5 here, we get, got a car, got some gas. Of course, into and if we put this shape 2 frets higher and do the same plucking, we have the intro to Green Disease. There you have it. A random little thing that Eddie loves to explore that has given us so much. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 2 of Stone Speaks. We will look very much forward to bringing you more of these, and I will see you next time with more stuff. Goodbye.